here.
Good afternoon.
Just refer back to the match against Montpellier at the weekend, if you don't mind for a second. How pleased were you with the performance of your pack, particularly your front row actually, in the opening 40 minutes of that game? Did they really take the sting out of Montpellier, and did they really set the foundation for what was a really good performance?
Yeah, you're spot on. Obviously the discussion around selection was a big one with the international players coming back, but we showed faith in the pack that has been going pretty well for us up to date. And the cohesion amongst them really came to the fore. I felt they really put us on the front foot. That first scrum on the halfway line for us really set the tone. And, it wasn't just their work in the tight, in the loose as well. They were very active both defensively and in attack. So, big pat on the back for all of them really from all the coaches.
When you look at the second half, maybe when the more seasoned internationals came on, did you feel that they had the desired impact, or is there still work there to be done from that point of view?
No, I'm really happy with the energy that they brought. If you look at it from a Montpellier point of view, they would have had a bit of a rally cry at half time, I imagine. So they would have picked up a little bit, So, no, really happy. I mean, it's always a tricky week with regards to reintegrating the international players back into the Leinster language, if you like, and some of the certain things we've been focusing on whilst they've been away in camp. So, but I felt the week went well. We prepared really well. So no, happy with the way that everybody went really.
So do you feel that there's room for improvement this week? I mean, what sort of a challenge are you expecting from Northampton?
There's always room for improvement. There's a couple of lineouts we didn't get right. We lost the ball, in good areas of the field. They had a couple of scrum calls went their way. I'm not saying I agree with the referee, but there are certain things that we can do differently maybe to help him see our way of thinking. But no, there's always room to improve. In Northampton, they pose slightly different questions in different areas. They got good variety in attack from a lineup point of view. They're solid at scrum and set piece. So yeah, again, we've just got to do our due diligence in our work, in the way we prepare, in the way that we look at the challenges that lie ahead of us, and continue to grow. The minute we start standing still and thinking we're good enough, then we're in trouble. So we just look to build week on week upon the performances as they go by.
And just a final question from me, and it's in relation to those other fellas on the pitch from jerseys 9 to 15. I know as a forward you're not really bothered about them, but on a serious note, how likely are we to see Johnny Sexton and Gary Ringrose or this week in a starting jersey?
Yeah, they've both been assessed currently. I mean, I can read to you what I got in front of me. But in short, that's what it is. Johnny's leg tightened up just after the captain's run, so didn't feel he was worth being risked for that. So along with Gary, they'll both be assessed this week, and we'll see how they get on.
Thanks, Ben.
But you're right, yeah. I would say 10 to 15 probably. Half back, he's half forward as well, the 9, so I got a bit of time for him.
Cheers, Mick. Neil, if you're good to go there as well.
Yeah, hi Robin.
Hi there.
Just to follow up on a bit more injury stuff. Two guys who you said are unavailable actually for this weekend, James Lowe and Ty Furlong. How are they progressing in general? How close you they are?
I think they're both progressing. I can speak personally with regards to Ty, in that I've been doing some one-on-one coaching, not 1v1. I'm not going up against him, but just doing a bit of profile work with him, etc. Just on his road back to recovery. So. They're both heading in the right direction, and again they've been closely monitored. So, hopefully it won't be too long.
Like with Ty, what kind of sort of work has he been doing on the training pitch? Is he hitting live scrums? Is he doing full contact work?
No, not yet. No. So I'm just focusing on his profile, just strengthening some of the areas. So it's a good opportunity, you know, when you come back and you work on rehab to touch base with individuals and just work on the small little details. Sometimes it gets overlooked when you're constantly in a working week from a team point of view. So yeah, hopefully, well, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll bounce back stronger.
Are you thinking this week, would you be more inclined to try bring back in some more of those internationals who would have been starting from the bench on Saturday?
Yeah, again, those discussions are to take place, really. You know, I know there are certain restrictions and constrictions and laws that need to be followed with regards to playing minutes. So, you know, Leo's all over that, really. So, yeah, I'll be led by whatever decision that he's made, really. But, you know, we'll have a healthy discussion around things and, yeah, just shape things as much as we can towards the way that we want things to go.
Thanks. Robin, hi, how's it going? I know you were talking there briefly a couple of moments ago about Northampton, but just wondering as well, like they've lost their last 4 consecutive games. How does that fit into the preparation?
Yeah, you know, we just focus on ourselves, really. But one thing you're always aware of when you come up against a team who haven't had the rub of the green the last few weeks, I mean, they should have beaten that. They should have won the game last week, albeit from, you know, just a lucky bounce from a missed penalty kick, rebounding off a post. The possibility and the potential there is for teams who are, like I say, who had a bit of bad luck or what have you, that they use a big game to turn the season around. So I suppose the message from their side will be, you know, just targeting us as somewhere to go and try and kickstart the season from there. And there's no better opportunity to do it, you know, against a side where you may be unfancied. So we've always got to be aware of that. And they've got some quality players, quality individuals in their team. And they're always going to be a threat, you know. So, yeah, just can't take them lightly. So we know whichever team we're going to be faced against, it's going to be, you know, a good test for us. Because, you know, you can only name a certain amount of players in your European squad anyway. So they're going to be quality players. And like I say, maybe they'll turn up with an attitude of nothing to lose. And when you've got that attitude, you're a very dangerous team to play against. So we're going to have to be at our best again.
Thank you.
Robin, is Don here. How important and what advantage in your experience is this the community of a front row? Like, you know, guys playing Pro 14 week in and week out, and then the international guys come in as cavalry. But is that very important in a front row, that the consistency of being together?
Yeah, most definitely. The understanding between them. You know, you've seen it in the past. You know, obviously having faced these teams on an international stage, where you've got, you know, you had South Africa who consistently on their road to the World Cup, winning the World Cup, they had 6 forwards on the bench, and they referred to them as the bomb squad, where you had the whole front row coming off the bench and, you know, making an impact. And when you've got that identity as a front row or as a unit, that tends to make you a lot stronger, because you've got a certain role to play and you're very comfortable with it. And, you know, so yeah, definitely that cohesion, that understanding. That's where the sort of mini unit work, you know, just front rows, or you split the scrum in half with the loose head, the hooker, the lock, and the flanker. They've all got to work in unison, and you know, it's yeah, that understanding is paramount, really.
But you have to have a lot of confidence in the light brigade, so to speak, the guys who go out first.
Say again, sorry.
You have to have a lot of confidence in the front row that takes the field.
Yeah, definitely. They've been going well, in fairness. Obviously, Michael Bent has been outstanding. He's made my role as a coach much easier because he's driving the scrum. He really is a force to be reckoned with on the training field. And because, he prides himself so much on the scrum, that rubs off on the young tight heads behind him, on the young locks that are scrummaging behind him, the flankers. So if you're in opposition to him, you bear the brunt of his technical ability, and when you're pushing behind him, he's on your team, then similarly it rubs off on these young individuals, So as a breeding ground, it's an exceptional opportunity for these young props to learn. You take the example of Michael Milne, who's been in opposition to Michael Bent over these past couple of months. And he's benefited massively from being up against somebody of that standard. Similarly, someone like Thomas Clarkson, who's up against quality loose heads, not only international wise, and Cian Healy and Ed Byrne, but you got Peter Dooley, another one, coming up through the ranks. So it's a good breeding ground for front row forwards, I feel. And when you've got those numbers and everybody scrummages in slightly different ways, then it's to the benefit of everybody.
Yeah, and then you have to allow for the likes of Dan Sheehan, who was very lively for Leinster A against Connacht.
Yeah, exactly. Stood out. So. And there were a lot of youngsters who trained with us during the period the international boys were away. You had Jack Dunn, Joe McCarthy, Sean O'Brien. You got all these youngsters, Charlie Ryan, Alex Soroka. So it's good to get to know these boys because they are the future of Leinster Rugby, and they've had a great preparation in training amongst the first team, I should say, and then being able to put all that work and training and experience that they've had seen on the field fruition against Connacht. It's great, really brilliant.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Hi, Robin. Just wondering, the game against Small Pally, and particularly in the European Cup, the lack of supporters there, it probably does suit the away team. I mean, over the weekend there have been some unusual results, and I'm just wondering how much of a bearing it's having on the competition.
Yeah, it's probably negating the home advantage factor. Something that obviously we felt in our game against Saracens in the quarter-final of the last European Champions Cup. So yeah, I suppose it's wrong to call it a home advantage because it's more of a neutral feel about everything. And when you consider, the packed house that would have been in Montpellier, very vocal team, the French. So, teams can thrive off it and really grow. And we've got the benefit of having fantastic supporters here every time we take the field, and certainly not the same without them. I can tell you that. So yeah, slowly but surely they're starting to come back. So hopefully we'll see the numbers getting back, so that home advantage does actually mean home advantage.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, Robin, before you came to Leinster and when you were prepping for the job interview to come into the role that you came into, your perception of what Leinster had in terms of, let's say, even talking about front row forwards, compared to where you are now with your boots on the ground and you're working with, even fellas, the younger players in the academy, your perception initially and the actual reality right now, can you talk about the sort of the difference between one and the other?
Not a lot of difference, to be honest with you. I mean, I visited over a couple of times. I had a conversation with Tig, with Cian. And then during the World Cup, I was looking at footage from training with regards to some of the youngsters coming through pre-season wise. So to actually get here, my expectations were high because I knew the reputation and the identity and everything that went along with Leinster. So to see it up close and to be working with these individuals, I haven't been disappointed, to be honest with you. They're a great bunch to work with, and the youth coming through. I mean, you made reference to the A game. I mean, it's when you look at the 6, 7, 8 weeks that we trained without the international players, we still had enough for 2 full packs, and those packs were competitive. Both scrummaging against each other, mauling, etc. So that in itself is testament to the production line here in Leinster, and the development from within is second to none, really. And I know the work that goes into it, but it really is outstanding. So I haven't been disappointed, to be honest with you, in the quality of the boys coming through.